Did you notice how many of those were women? I know there was a few men sprinkled in there, but it seems like those first 3 or 4 rows are almost entirely women. I think that's an exceptional achievement. But it's not a surprise, because everywhere you go, I've taught in lots of universities around the world, everywhere we go around the world today, women are participating equally. You know, our school is probably more than 50% women today, but the really shocking thing is that those women totally outperform men when it comes to academic performance. So what we're seeing here today is not at all unusual. It's to be celebrated, absolutely, but it's not unusual. Congratulations. Our challenge is to get these young women to the tops of government, to the top of social organisations, not just in Sri Lanka but around the world, and to the tops of corporations. Because what we know is that women make decisions differently to men. They think about the long term rather than the short term. They think about good in a different kind of way. They think about financial achievement in a different kind of way. It takes 20 years for a cohort to work through the system. And I hope I'm still visiting Sri Lanka in 2036, when some of the young women who have graduated with exceptional honours, and of course all the women who've graduated today, are leading Sri Lankan society onto ever better and greater things. So congratulations, ladies, once again. I have a couple of short things I want to note. I graduated with my first degree in 1992. I'm sure many of you over here weren't even born at that time, but it was actually a pretty bad year in Ireland. There was no work, and many of my classmates left the country. One of the mistakes that we made was we thought, and I think many undergraduates today still think the same thing, that when you graduate with your degree that something is going to happen. In some way somebody will come through a door and hand you a large check or ask you to be CEO of their organisation. Tim Cook from Apple might phone you up and say, hey, I've heard you graduated, you need to come to California to work for me. Or Donald Trump perhaps even would call you and say, please come and join my cabinet. It's not like that. That is not going to happen. You achieved excellence in achieving an outstanding degree from an outstanding university through an outstanding partnership between UCD and NSBM. You did that because you had a plan and you worked extremely hard. You started that degree because you also had a bigger plan for yourself to contribute in some way to your society, to develop yourself personally, perhaps to improve your future economic prospects. And the good news is you made it, congratulations. The bad news is now you need a new plan, or maybe you need to dust off the old plan. But if you don't have a plan, and more importantly, you don't put that plan into operation, nothing is going to happen. So the moment you finish something today, you have to start something today. The future is bright. The opportunities for young people like you, of talent and integrity, of vision, without biases, with commitment to globalization, are enormous in the world today. We absolutely live in the age of uncertainty. I met a CEO of a very large company recently. He told me, I'm still shocked even to share this with you, he told me, we've been totally surprised about what happened in the world in the last 3 or 4 years. Totally. We never expected it. The turnover of the company is in excess of $100 billion. It's a company which everybody in this room would know. He said we were entirely taken by surprise. If he cannot anticipate what's going to happen over a 3 to 5 year period, what chance do the rest of us have? And I asked him, how does he solve this problem? He said, you know, we hire great young people from around the world. We are absolutely globalized and we trust what they say. So the opportunities for you to contribute to organizations like that are absolutely enormous. So let me just think about 3 things, or invite you to think about 3 things. Each of you are graduates in business. You chose that as your profession. That will be your profession for the rest of your life. Most business people create economic wealth. In some places that's a good thing, in some places that's a bad thing. But the facts of the matter are that this institution would not be here if entrepreneurs and business leaders in your country did not create wealth to allow for taxes to help to pay for this campus. You would not be here today if the health system would not allow you to be here if business had not created wealth to allow you to enjoy good health and education over the period of your lives. We trust in wealth creation to protect older people and weaker people in our society. The responsibility to create that wealth now falls to you on that side of the room. It's a very, very big responsibility. You also have, however, a second responsibility, and that's to behave in a way which is supportive of society. The days when business people could say and do whatever they wish are long, long gone, and I'm very grateful for that. We need to behave in an ethical fashion. It's important that companies and wealthy people, which you will be, pay their taxes. It's important that they pay their taxes in the country where that wealth is created, because people are entitled to some share of that wealth back for the national good. It is important that you do not ever take actions. If you ever faced or confronted with the question of how far can I go in this situation, you've already gone too far. There is a requirement for the business leaders, the leaders of the 21st century. There's a requirement for those people to behave in a transparent, honest, open and deeply ethical fashion, and that's your responsibility. The third thing, I think, is to remember where you came from. There are two groups of people here today who have helped you to get to this point. The first, and I'm part of this group in a sense, are our academic and faculty colleagues on my right hand side here. These people who have decided to dedicate their lives to prepare themselves to be teachers and researchers, to allow them to share great ideas, leading edge ideas, important ideas that are important to your career and your role as a future wealth creator. And we should be grateful to them for their contribution towards that. I don't think my faculty colleagues would mind, however, if I said that the group who is far, far more important are in fact in these two sections here. I liked looking at you walking onto the stage. Some of you had trouble with the shoes coming across the stage. Everybody had a big smile on their face and came across with gusto and energy. And I take a guess, Paul, my colleague, might agree that the average age seemed to be 23 or 24, maybe 25, but certainly not more than that. And if you are older than that, you're fortunate to look under 25, so that's a good day's work as well. I want you to think just for a moment about how you got here. A very, very small single-digit percentage of the world's population ever graduates with a university degree. Most people in the world never finish primary school. Somebody decided 23, 24, or 25 years ago when you were born that you were special and that they loved you enough to make sure that your potential would be achieved. That is the reason why you sit here today, graduating from a university. Those people decided that they would be hard and disciplined on you to make sure you did your homework. I don't think anybody likes homework. I certainly don't like making my children do homework, and very often they can't see the point in it, but of course what you know is if you don't do your homework, you don't get to sit where you're sitting. They made economic sacrifices to make sure that you would have access to that education and that you would be able to come to a great institution like this and share in this great partnership between NSBM and UCD. Perhaps more importantly than either of those two things, they provided you with the love and encouragement that's necessary to sustain through the hard times, the 24, 25 years, the hard times over those periods when you doubted yourself, but they never ever doubted you. If you're very fortunate, it's your parents who have played that role. In other circumstances, perhaps it's your grandparents, an aunt and uncle, aunts or uncles, older brothers and sisters. It doesn't really matter. What matters is, to you on this side, is that the people in these two rows here are the people who got you here. Of course, your hard work, intelligence and brilliance is what won the day, but you would never have been in the position that you're in if they had not loved you and supported you to get you here. We have relatively few times in our lives when we have an opportunity to say thank you back to those people. And I would encourage you today to take that opportunity. Take the opportunity to look your parents or your guardians or whoever it is in the eye, tell them that you love them and thank them for what they have done for you. I promise you, you'll be grateful for it today, for sure, but certainly at some time in the future of your lives. Congratulations on joining our UCD community. I'm a UCD graduate. I'm very, very proud of that. Everywhere I go in the world, I seek out UCD graduates. Most of them don't look like me anymore. There's, as I said earlier on, many more women amongst our cohorts. And in our graduate school of business today, more than 50% of our students are not from Ireland, and we would like that figure to be a lot higher. You contribute to that diversity in our community. Please seek out UCD graduates wherever you go in the world. You'll find a friendly face and a warm handshake to share your travels with. This is a great day. Congratulations once again. Enjoy the rest of the day, and thank you very much indeed.